So in this video, we're gonna talk about Yunjin's Weverse post that she wrote today, right? Actually, yeah, last night, past midnight. And I would like to also talk about how this post connects to the Sserafim's song 미치지 못하는 이유, Crazier, which is the last track of the album Crazy, right? But first, I'd like to go over the key points of Yunjin's post. And actually, I will read in both Korean and English because it's written very beautiful and very heartfelt, right? And then after that, I'd like to break down the song further, right? But interesting that she wrote this long post both in Korean and English, right? And I love when artists do that, right? Writing heartfelt, writing out their thoughts in a very heartfelt and in a, I don't know, in a deep way, filled, making the connections with the fans, right? And I really appreciate that she wrote this in English too, because although Weverse does a pretty good job translating, they're not perfect, right? And I'm pretty sure she didn't want to exclude the international fans, or rather, she wanted to convey the full emotions and the full meanings to the international audience as well. Okay, so should I read in Korean first? 크면서 아주 소중한 무언가를 어릴 적에 두고 온 느낌이 들어요. 만약 저와 같은 마음이라면 이 글이 잘 찾아갔길 바랍니다. 가상현실과 현실의 경계가 점점 흐려지는 지금 우리는 인터넷의 개입이 없이는 하루를 살기 힘들어요. 오프라인에서 뒤처지지 않기 위해 온라인에서도 뒤처지지 않으려 하고 사회에서 빠지지 않기 위해 알고리즘에 빠지곤 하죠. Ooh, I like that. 이 온라인 세계가 사람들과 어울리고 세상을 알아볼 수 있는 좋은 환경이기도 하지만 내 실제 삶까지 알고리즘에 맞춰 살아야 한다는 압박을 영속시키는 곳이기도 합니다. 그 압박의 존재가 요즘 더욱 느껴져요. 요즘 젊은 사람들에게, 어린 여성 친구들에게 어떤 특정 체형, 특정 외모, 어떤 이미지의 어떤 페르소나, 나의 취향이 조금 다르면 오타쿠, 오글거리고 이상한 것으로 취급당하죠. 그리고 사람들은 그런 내가 마음에 안 들면 손쉽게 한마디씩 얹어요. 교묘하게 상처받으면 내가 가벼운 장난도 못 받아들이는 사람이 되어버리게 가장 못된 방식으로 공격을 해요. 그러면서 우리도 모르게 배우게 돼요. 사랑받고 싶다면 나다운 것은 위험한 거다. 리스크다. 사실 나라는 건 다르기 때문에 너무너무 특별한 것이며 1080 칸에 갇히기엔 너무 풍성한 존재인데 1080 칸에 갇히기엔 너무 풍성한 존재인데 계속 남들과 비교하며 나를 부풀려 어떤 기준에 맞추게 되면서 아주 근본적인 걸 자꾸 잊게 되는 것 같아요. 우린 사랑받고 싶을 뿐만 아니라 사랑하고 싶은 욕구를 가지고 태어납니다. 생각해보면 우리는 어렸을 때는 다 그런 가슴 뛰는 무언가가 있었어요. 저는 창작이 너무 좋았거든요. 그래서 화가의 꿈도 없이 매일 그림을 그렸고 낭독회 하나 없이 시를 열심히 썼어요. 잡히지 않는 나비를 기꺼이 쫓았던 거죠. 그저 좋아했기 때문에. 그 꿈의 불꽃을 화면 속 무언가를 쫓느라 제발 놓치지 마세요. 불이 약해져도 꺼지지는 않게 지키세요. 너무너무 소중한 겁니다. 내가 하고 싶은 게 있다는 건. 늦지 않았어요. 새로운 시작이던 옛 꿈을 다시 키우는 것이던 사랑하는 일에 마음껏 행복해하고 아파도 보세요. 자신의 작품을 공유해 주시고 자기만의 이야기를 들려주세요. 정신없이 빠르고 자극적이고 너무너무 아픈 이 세상 속 가장 나다운 것이 무엇인지 알려주는 것이 바로 그 어릴 적 순수한 사랑이 존재하는 이유입니다. 소음을 뚫으려는 그 아이의 작은 목소리에 귀 기울여보면 알 거예요. 그리고 나의 단점을 지적하고 차이점을 무시하는 사람들은 언제나 있어요. 하지만 지켜보는 사람들 중에 누군가는 나다워져도 괜찮다는 것을 누군가가 먼저 보여주길 기다리고 있을 것입니다. 반드시 있어요. 저도 그런 사람 중 한 명으로서 시작한 거거든요. 그렇게 우리 모두 서로에게 힘과 희망을 줄 수 있는 중요한 존재인 겁니다. 그 어떤 숫자도 잴 수 없는. 미친 세상이라는 것을 알고 있습니다. 하지만 저에게는 더 많이 느끼고 더 많이 사랑하고 모두가 눈을 감으라 하는 가운데도 두 눈 번쩍 뜨고 내가 누구인지 지키기로 선택하는 것, 그것이야말로 저에게는 가장 미친 짓이에요. 어쩌면 미치는 게 제일 현명한 걸지도 몰라요. 미치지 못하는 이유가 셀 수 없이 많아도 미칠 수 있는 이유는 딱 하나면 돼요. 그러니까 우리 더 미쳐서 살아봅시다. 삶에, 사랑에. Oh my goodness. I love this. Whew. Yeah. Let's read it in English first, and then we'll talk about it. I feel like we have left behind something important in our childhood. If you feel the same, I hope this message finds you well. In a time when our reality and digital reality can no longer be mutually exclusive, it's near impossible to live a day without the internet's influence. To keep up offline, we must keep up online. To stay in the loop, we stay on the algorithm. Granted, the internet is a great place to make connections and learn about the world, but it also perpetuates the anxiety of living real life like your timeline. I feel the pressures of a standard getting stronger upon our generation, especially young girls. A certain body type, a certain look, a certain attitude, a certain vibe. Anything other becomes the other. People are so quick to ostracize, calling people cringe or weird for simply looking and liking what they do. And it is often done in a passive air of cynical humor, the cruelest way, because like classic microaggression, if you get hurt, you become the uncool one who just doesn't know how to take a joke. It's almost like we're conditioned into it when receiving love and attention. Being yourself is a risk, a liability. When, in actuality, your uniqueness is what sets you apart. Your multidimensionality cannot fit into a 1080 square, 1080 by 1080 square. But we get so busy comparing ourselves to others, inflating our egos like balloons to fill a void and feel important, that we forget the most fundamental thing. We are not only born with the desire to receive love, but also to love. If you think about it, we all had something that made our hearts race when we were younger. As a kid, I loved to create. I drew every day without the pressure to become an artist. I wrote poetry without a single recitation. I would chase butterflies that I knew I could never catch in the first place, simply because it made me happy. Please don't lose a spark to pixels on a screen. The light may dim by circumstance, but please do not let it go out. Having something you want to do is such a beautiful, powerful thing. It's not too late. Whether it's a new beginning or rekindling an old passion, feel the liberation of doing what you love. Feel the pain of doing what you love. Share your art. Tell your story. That childlike joy exists for a reason. In this fast, stimulating, hectic, contradictory, and so painful world, it can ground you and remind you who your most authentic self is. All you need to do is listen for the child's voice through all the white noise. People will always pick you apart for your shortcomings and outcast you for your differences. But among those watching, someone is waiting for something to show them it's okay to be themselves. There's always somebody waiting. Always that somebody. So believe me when I say that your voice matters. You make a difference. We are all important beings with the power to give each other strength and hope, something no pixelated number can measure. It's a crazy world. But to me, to feel more and to love more, to choose to keep your eyes open and see yourself for who you are in a world where everyone tells you to keep them shut, that, to me, is what is even crazier. Ironically, I suppose choosing crazy is the most Zen thing we can do. Sometimes, it may not feel like it, but I promise you, you are not alone. You are never alone. I will be fighting alongside you to choose love over likes. So let us choose to be crazy for a truer life, for a truer love. Wow. This is why I love this girl and love the group, the Sserafim, right? Whew. And I'm just so excited about her future projects, right? Because she has released how many songs so far? 4 songs, 4 tracks. And they're about, life, in general. And I was like riding a bike today and I was thinking to myself, it seems like unlike other groups, the Seraphim songs, there's so few love songs, right? It's all about like self-identity and self-respect, confidence, or fear and fearless, right? Which is exactly the reason why I love their music, So I love you so much, Yunjin. I never regret to say you're one of my biggest inspiration. Yeah, she gives fans inspiration, Love you, Yunjin, how you just described my life in these paragraphs. Sometimes I think I wish I could go to my childhood where I never care what people think around me. No internet, just me and my siblings having some fun time. Crying on the first day of school where I never felt that I will be judged by my actions. And most important, my grandparents who give me so much love. I miss all of them. Okay. Yeah, so, in her post, Yunjin reflects on how we've lost something important from our childhood, our passions and sense of joy. And she mentions the pressures we face today, especially for young girls where, society imposes standards for how we should look, behave, and live. And she talks about how being yourself can feel like a risk in a world that values conformity. And she also discusses how social media and social expectations causes us to compare ourselves to others constantly, and this takes away from our realness, right? Authenticity. And she reminds that as children, we had things we loved doing without pressure, creating, dreaming, and simply enjoying life. And she encourages us to not lose that childlike spark and to reconnect with what makes us happy. Also, Yunjin emphasizes the importance of love, both giving and receiving it. 더 많이 느끼고 더 많이 사랑하고. And she stresses that in a world obsessed with appearances, the bravest thing we can do is to choose love and stay true to ourselves, right? I love that line. Yeah. And even if it feels like a crazy choice, right? Ironically, I suppose choosing crazy is the most sane thing we can do. Sweet. All right, so, and that, I think, this post just captures the whole album, right? The Crazy EP. But I wanted to go back to the song 미치지 못하는 you, Crazier, because she basically wrote the song while getting some help or support from 13 and Bang PD for production. But I believe like most of the lyrics, if not all, have been written by her. So let's talk about this. 미치고 싶은데 눈치 보느라 이미 늦은 듯해. 오늘도 난 화면 속 그늘 쫓아다니다 끝나버리긴 싫어. 사치가 되었네. 내 일기장에 쓰던 무비 클리셰. 그때는 그저 좋았지. 아무 의미 없는 드림. 이제 물어 다 무슨 의미인지. So the first verse talks about the narrators, right? Desire to go crazy and pursue their dreams, but feeling held back by societal pressures, right? The line 눈치 보느라 이미 늦은 듯해 suggests that worrying about what others think has prevented the narrator or Yunjin from fully expressing themselves, right? And this aligns with Yunjin's idea that being yourself feels risky in a world full of judgment, right? And the narrator also reflects on how, in their youth, they enjoyed dreaming without obligations. But now they question the meaning of those dreams. And this echoes Yunjin's thoughts on how we lose touch with the joy and creativity we had as children due to societal expectations. And in the pre-chorus, they question their identity and self-worth by asking 네모칸 밖에 난 who? And this refers to feeling trapped by societal and digital boxes, similar to Yunjin's idea that society imposes this rigid standards on us, right? And their uncertainty about whether there are enough mirrors the anxiety Yunjin describes about meeting society's expectations. And this chorus expresses, the narrator's envy for those who can fully immerse themselves in love and passion. 미칠 수 있다는 건 부러운 것. I think this line reflects a longing to feel deeply, which ties into Yunjin's message about the importance of embracing our passions and not letting societal pressure stop us from loving and feeling fully, The second verse, the Sserafim reflects on how their life has changed and feels disconnected from their childhood dreams. The metaphor, where is it? 어릴 적 꿈의 끝자락. A folded and 갈피가 접힌 적처럼 그 동화 속의 페이지 위에 갈피가 접힌 것처럼 a folded page in a fairy tale represents how their story feels paused or incomplete, right? 여전히 난 뭔가 찾게 돼. And Yunjin also talks about how we've lost something important from childhood, right? Which is reflected in this feeling of unresolved dreams and desires. And the narrator questions whether everyone has lost something as they grow older. Don't you feel I just love this line. 난 뭔가 찾게 돼. Don't you feel we lost something? And using the heartbeat, where is it? 같이 문 두드려볼래. 꿈이라면 꿈, 향기 가득한 room, 같이 문 두드려볼래. 문 두드려볼래. Okay, I think this reflects Yunjin's call to listen to our inner selves and reconnect with our true passions, even if the world around us is distracting or overwhelming. You know, 문 두드려볼래. Maybe this moon means door, but at the same time, it represents a doorway to our hearts, right? Our inner dreams. And the chorus repeats, right? With the narrator reflecting on their unfulfilled youth. Doing any heartbeat. There you go. Yeah. And despite not going crazy yet, the narrator acknowledges that their youth is still beautiful. And this idea of finding beauty in the journey reflects Yunjin's message about rediscovering our passions and the importance of embracing what we love, no matter how late it may seem. You know, whether you're in 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, or just, on and on, right? It's never too late. And here, outro. 미치도록 사랑하면 언젠가 look back and see 가시밭길 위 피어난 꽃. Yeah, the song ends with a hopeful note, right? Suggesting that by loving deeply, even if it feels crazy, we will eventually look back and see the beauty in our struggles, right? 가시밭길 위 피어난 꽃. A path filled with thorns. And the image of a flower blooming on a thorny path represents how something beautiful can grow out of hardship and challenges, which ties directly into Yunjin's message about staying true to ourselves despite the pressures of society, Whew. Yeah. I feel like this song is undervalued and underappreciated, perhaps because of its mood, but I know fans love it, right? I love it the more I listen to it. And I think overall this album itself, feels much more attached. I feel much more attached to it the more I listen to it, And I feel like Yunjin's Weverse post that she posted today and the lyrics of Crazier both emphasize the importance of staying true to ourselves, which I love, right? Even when society tells us to conform. And she reminds us that reconnecting with our passions and embracing what makes us unique is the bravest choice we can make, even if it feels crazy in today's world. Reddit. Trust Jennifer to distill the whole era into one beautiful phrase. Choose love over likes. So real for that society media ruins a lot of people. Yeah. Her self-composed songs are like a quiet yet reassuring presence, including this Weverse post as well. I can only hope to be as graceful as them going through life, albeit without losing what it felt to be true and honest, vulnerable to oneself. Thank you for this letter, Yunjin. She's very eloquent and comes off very emotionally mature. I'm a casual, so I haven't delved much into each individual member, but slowly that really impressed me with their grace and humility. And because of this mindset, I believe that whatever is happening, she and the group will persevere and grow even stronger, right? So, yeah, you go, girl, and you go, the Sserafim. So let me know in the comments how you relate to Yunjin's message and what you think about the song's lyrics, okay? Let's stay true to ourselves and let's be crazy about what we love and what we're passionate about. Peace and love, guys. Bye-bye.